aging. And the 4 poems are The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock by T.S. Eliot, Fern Hill by Dylan Thomas, My Back Pages by Bob Dylan, and the poem by Mirza Ghalib in between. I perform this as a medley. I don't go through one poem totally. I go back and forth between the 4 poems. And if you know any of the verses, you're very welcome to join in. And if I get something wrong, you can correct me. I do them in what's it called? Conrad, what's the word when you do things in historical order? There's a word for it. Chronological, thank you. I stopped studying in the 7th grade. That's when I discovered sports and women, and after that there was no more studying. Conrad is my witness. Chronological order: T.S. Eliot, Dylan Thomas, Bob Dylan. And Mirza Ghalib comes in between. Mirza Ghalib, of course, was senior to T.S. Eliot. But you can see the footprints from one poem to the other. So we start with this absolutely brilliant poem called The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock by T.S. Eliot, and I won't be breaking in between. I'll be going through these 4 poems till the end. Glenn, with your permission. Scott Saab, ijazat dijiye. Let us go then, you and I, when the evening is spread out against the sky, like a patient etherized upon a table. Let us go through certain half-deserted streets, the muttering retreats of restless nights in one-night cheap hotels, sawdust restaurants with oyster shells. Streets that follow like a tedious argument of insidious intent. This sounds like a meeting we probably went through today. Streets that follow like a tedious argument of insidious intent to lead you to an overwhelming question. Oh, do not ask, what is it? Let us go and make up as it. In the room, the women come and go, talking with Michelangelo. The yellow fog that rubs its back upon the window panes. The yellow smoke that rubs its muzzle on the window panes. Licked its tongue into the corners of the evening, settled upon the pools that stand in drains, let fall upon its back the soot that falls from chimneys, slipped by the terrace, made a sudden leap, and seeing that it was a soft October night, curled once about the house and fell asleep. And indeed there will be time for the yellow smoke that slides along the street, rubbing its back upon the window panes. There will be time to prepare a face to meet the faces that you meet. Time to murder and create, and time for all the days and works of hands that lift and drop a question on my plate. Time for you, and time for me, and time yet for 100 indecisions, and for 100 visions and revisions before the taking of a toast and tea. In the room, the women come and go, talking with Michelangelo. Oh, as I was young and carefree under the apple boughs about the lilting house, and happy as the grass was green the night above the dingle starry. Time let me hail and climb golden in the heydays of his eyes, and honored among wagons I was prince of the apple towns, and once below a time my lordly head the trees and leaves trail with daisies and barley down the rivers of the windfall light. As I was green and carefree,
famous among the barns about the happy yard, and singing as the farm was home in the sun which is young once only. Time let me play and be golden in the mercy of his means, and green and golden I was huntsman and herdsman. The calves sang to my tune, the foxes on the hill barked clear and cold, and the sap ran slowly in the pebbles of the holy stream. Crimson flames dive through my ears, rolling high in mighty traps, bounced with fire on flaming roads, using ideas as my maps. We'll meet on edges soon, said I, proud neath heated brow. Ah, but I was so much older then, I'm younger than that now. Half-rack prejudice leap forth, rip down all hate I scream. Lies that life is black and white, spoke from my skull I dreamed. Romantic facts of musketeers, foundation deep somehow. Ah, but I was so much older then, I'm younger than that now. And indeed there will be time to wonder, do I dare? Do I dare? Time to turn back and descend the stair with a bald spot in the middle of my hair. They will say, but how his hair is growing thin. My morning coat, my collar mounting firmly to the chin, my necktie rich and modest, but asserted with a simple pin. Do I dare disturb the universe? In a minute there is time for decisions and revisions that a minute will reverse. For I've seen them all already, seen them all. Seen the evenings, mornings, afternoons. I have measured out my life with coffee spoons. I know the voices dying with the dying fall beneath the music from a farther room, so how should I presume? And I have known the eyes already, known them all. Eyes that fix you in a formulated phrase, and when I am formulated, sprawling on a pin, when I am pinned and wriggling on the wall, then how should I begin to spit out all the buttons of my days and ways? And how should I presume? And I've known the arms already, known them all. Arms that are white and braceleted and bare, but in the lamplight bound with light brown hair. Is it perfume from a dress that makes me so digress? Arms that lie upon a table, a wrap about a shawl. And should I then begin? And how should I presume? Shall I say that I have gone an evening down certain streets and seen the smoke that rises from the pipes of lonely men in shirt sleeves leaning out of windows? I should have been a pair of ragged claws scuttling across the floors of silence. All the sun long it was running, it was playing, the hayfields high as the house, the tunes from the chimneys. It was playing in lovely air and watery and fire green as grass. and nightly as I rode to sleep, the owls were bearing the farm away. And all the moon long I heard honored among Barnsley. Owls flying with the ricks and the horses flashing into the dark. And then to awake, the farm like a wanderer white with the dew come back, the cock on his shoulder. It was all shining, it was Adam and maiden, and the sun grew round that very day. Thus it must have been at the birth of the simple light. In that first spinning place, the spellbound horses walking warm out of the whinnying green stable onto the fields of praise. Girls' faces form the forward path from phony jealousy to memorize in politics of ancient history, flung down by corpse evangelists, unthought of those somehow. But I was so much older then, I'm younger than that now. रहिए अब ऐसी जगह चलकर जहाँ कोई न हो, हम सुखन कोई न हो और हम ज़मां कोई न हो। बेदरो दीवार सा घर बनाया चाहिए, कोई हमसाया न हो और पासपां कोई न हो। पड़िए अगर बीमार तो कोई न हो तीमारदार, और अगर मर जाइए तो नुहा ख्वां कोई न हो। In a self-ordained professor's tongue, too serious to fool, spouted out that liberty is just equality at school. Equality, I spoke that word as if a wedding vow. But I was so much older then, I'm younger than that now. The afternoon, the evening, slept so peacefully, smoothed by long fingers, asleep, tired, autumn malingers, here on the floor beside you and me. Will I, after tea and cakes and ices, have the strength to force the moment to its crisis? For though I have wept and fasted, wept and prayed, though I have seen my head grown slightly bald, brought in upon a platter, I am no prophet, and here is no great matter. I have seen the moment of my greatness flicker, and I have seen the eternal footman hold my coat and snicker. And in short, I was afraid. And would it have been worth it after all? After the cups, the marmalade, the tea among the porcelain, among some talk of you and me? Would it have been worthwhile to have bitten off the matter with a smile, to squeeze the universe into a ball, to roll it towards an overwhelming question, to say, I am Lazarus, come back from the dead, come back to tell you all? If what? Settling a pillow by her head, throwing off the shawls and say, that is not what I meant at all. That is not it at all. And would it have been worth it? After all, would it have been worthwhile? After the sunsets and the dooryards and the sprinkled streets? After the novels, the teacups, the skirts that trail along the floor, and this and so much more. It is impossible to say exactly what I mean, but as if a magic lantern had thrown the nerves and patterns on the screen, would it have been worthwhile if one, settling a pillow, turning towards the window, or throwing off his shawls, would say, "That's not it at all. That is not what I meant at all." No, I am not Prince Hamlet, nor was meant to be. If an attendant lord, one good enough to swell her progress, start a scene or two, advise the prince, no doubt an easy tool, deferential, glad to be of use, politic, cautious and meticulous, full of high sentence, but a bit obtuse. At times, indeed, almost ridiculous. At times, indeed, the fool. I grow old. I grow old. I shall wear the bottoms of my trousers rolled. Shall I part my hair behind? Do I dare to eat a peach? I shall wear white flannel trousers and walk upon the beach. I've heard the mermaids singing each to each. I do not think that they will sing to me. I've seen them riding seaward on the waves, combing the white hair of the waves blown back when the wind blows the water white and black. We have lingered in the chambers of the sea, by seagulls wreathed with seaweed, red and brown, till human voices wake us, and we drown. And order among foxes and pheasants by the gay house, under the new-made clouds, and happy as the heart was long, in the sun born over and over, my wishes race through the house high hay, and nothing I cared at my sky blue trees. The time in all its tuneful turning allows so few and such morning songs before the children green and golden follow him up to grace. Nothing I cared in the land of white days. The time will take me up to the swallow-thronged loft by the shadow of my hand in the moon that is always rising. Or that riding to sleep, I should hear him fly with the high fields and wake to the farm forever fled from the childless land. Oh, I was young and easy in the mercy of his means. Time held me, green and dying, though I sang in my chains like the sea. In a soldier's stance I aimed my hand at the mongrel dogs who teach, fearing not I'd become my enemy in the instant that I preach. My existence led by confusion boats, mutiny from stern to bow. But I was so much older then, I'm younger than that now. Yes, my God stood hard when abstract threats, too noble to neglect, deceived me into thinking I had something to protect. Good and bad, I'd state these terms, quite clear, no doubt, somehow. But I was so much older then, I'm younger than that now.